I'm Martin Gillen, all the way from Donegal.
All the way from Donegal.
Born in Donegal.
Born in Donegal, yes, Donegal town. Went to national school in Airua, Donegal town, and did a year at the Cleary's secondary school, which was a privately run secondary school in Donegal town. Did 1 year there before going to Summerhill College in Sligo, which was a boarding school, and spent 4 years there. And I was one of a family of four. I'm the third in the family. I have an older brother, older sister, and a younger sister. My parents were from County Sligo, from Maharao. Mother was Currid from Ballyconnell, and my father was Gillen from Matt Gillen from Carrigan's in Maharao. Did the leaving in Summerhill College.
You went to the national school locally?
I did, Airua National School in Donegal.
And who was teaching you there at the time?
Well, we had four different teachers. We had a Miss McGinley, who we had for, they called it baby infants at the time, and high infants, and first class. And then we had a Master Gallagher, who was from Ballyshannon. Miss McGinley was a really excellent teacher. She put you at ease because, you know, we went to school started school when I was 4, and it's obviously it can be a big change for a 4-year-old to leave the mother's knee, as it were, and head off to school and be in a room with 20 or 30 odd other children who you don't know or aren't familiar with. But she was very good at putting you at ease and making you feel that there was nothing to be worried about, you know. She was an excellent teacher and lived a good old age, actually. I think she was close to 100 when she died. And then went from that into second class and the teacher there was Master Gallagher from Ballyshannon, a gentleman and good teacher, and we had him for second and third class. And then then we had teacher Bert O'Neill for a while, and then he went off to take, I think he became a principal in a school out near Barnesmore, and he was replaced by a young teacher by the name of Roger Meehan. Actually, Roger's people were were in business, and they had a number of dance halls around southwest Donegal, places like Duncanady, Killybegs and places like that. And so by day he was a teacher, and by night he was a businessman. And then I went in, my final year was with the Master McGinley. And I found him to be an excellent teacher. He was very fond of the Irish, and so we spoke a lot of Irish in the class.
It wasn't an Irish school?
It wasn't an Irish school, but he enjoyed having conversation in the class in the morning. So he'd ask us first thing in the morning, you know, what was our story for the day in terms of what happened at home the day before, or what you were at the day before, and used to enjoy that. And then we finished up there, and I went on to Cleary's secondary school.
And what did you learn in national school?
What did I learn at national school? Well, I suppose I like everybody else, you know, you learn the basics in terms of English and maths and Irish and a bit of geography and a bit of history, and you know, it's pretty much the foundation for your further education.
So you moved on to
Cleary's secondary school. Then it was a privately run school by a man named Cleary, and I was there for a year, and didn't do too well there. I think if I'd stayed, it wouldn't have been good for me.
And why were you sent to a private school, local school?
Well, my friends were all at boarding school at the time, and
was this a boarding school?
No, this was a day
Day
school
school,
in
yeah,
Donegal town, so
yeah.
it was just, you went in the morning at 9 o'clock and you came home at 4 o'clock in the evening, so it's just your regular day school.
Were there many pupils in the school?
I would say probably about 400 or thereabouts.
In private
300 or
school,
400,
right?
yeah, I'd say it was about that.
And was there a public
My
school there
guess.
as well?
There was a vocational school
Vocational.
in the town, and that was the public school. Although Cleary operated as a contractor, obviously for the state,
Yeah.
so
So
in that sense, it was controlled by the state, I would say.
kind of a proper school.
Yeah, proper school.
Proper
Yeah,
school,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and then after a year, I said it to my mother that, look, if I don't, I think I should go away to
Okay.
school, and I think if I stay here, I'm not going to do any good.
Mm.
So, she agreed. She said, okay, let's look around. And the next thing, I got into Summerhill College in Sligo,
Okay.
and that was the beginning of a very important journey for me, because I met a lot of friends in Summerhill, and it also helped form. They were very formative years, and you're on your own, you're away from your family, you're living with a group of guys from all over the country,
Yeah.
and you develop, you begin to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, and how to behave in an environment where you're living with other people other than your own family. So very formative years, and played a lot of sport in Summerhill too. Played soccer, I played Gaelic.
Mm. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I
Yeah.
did enjoy the time there, and I made some very good friends that were still friendly to this day.
And did you miss home now when you went?
I did. Yes, I remember. At the end of the first week, I rang my mother and pleaded with her to take me home. But I remember what she said to me. She said, "The fee is paid, so you're staying where you are," and that was that. So, and it was the right thing to do. Yeah.
And did it take you long to settle in?
Once you made the best of it,
Yeah.
and you settled in. But yeah.
And what kind of stuff did you learn in that school?
Well, again, it was just furthering your education in terms of the basics. Irish, English, maths, and we did a bit of Latin, and science, geography, history, French. So it was just further developing your education.
Mm.
But it did a lot in terms of helping you as an individual grow and develop, because you had to manage relationships with people you weren't familiar with. You had to manage situations where you would maybe disagree with some people or whatever, and how to overcome those, and how to manage situations. And some of the teachers there were excellent in that they not only taught you the formal education materials, but they were good mentors, and were good at giving advice in terms of dealing with the world we live in. So.
And did you realise that this was happening, or was it happening?
It was years later I understood it better.
Yeah.
It was happening all right, but I didn't fully appreciate it at the time. But I did years later. I understood exactly what was.
And was it, as we call it wasn't a tough school, was it?
It wasn't a tough school, but you had to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, because there were challenging. Sometimes there were challenges there, and you had to deal with them. Because you were put into situations that were somewhat competitive in terms of sport, for example, trying to get on the team and staying on the team, and sometimes you get dropped off the team and you had to come back and try and rebuild again and try and get back on, and you could have disagreements when you were on the football pitch, as you know. But
did you have an induction ceremony of any
there was, yes, but I managed to escape it. So you were brought down to a big water, like a reservoir, and you were just thrown in as clothes and all. Clothes and all.
And could you get into trouble over that now? Anybody get into trouble over?
They obviously knew it was going on, and I never heard of anybody getting into trouble, but they certainly didn't condone it. Yeah.
And did they have corporal punishment there at that time?
No corporal punishment.
No strap.
No strap. No
no
cane. No,
okay.
no. Yeah. Yeah.
No, nothing. Yeah.
No, nothing. Yeah, they punished you in different ways by depriving you of certain freedoms that you might have had. You know?
Okay. Yeah. And where did you move on from that to?
Well, I finished the leaving there, and I came out and I got a summer job with CIE selling tickets to bus passengers in Ballyshannon, a small little office there. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was very focused on sport at the time, and you know, the formal education system was sort of secondary to me. But after I got this role or job in the ticket office, about 3 or 4 months into it, it began to dawn on me that, you know, this is not what I want to be doing for the rest of my days, and I needed to go and get back into the education system. I hadn't planned to go on to further education. In fact, I thought I was going to take time out from it. But after, you know, as I said, a few months, I thought, you know, this is not the right course.
Penny dropped.
Penny dropped, and I needed to get back in, and I applied for an industrial engineering course in Letterkenny College at the time, and I got in there, and that's where I started.
And what were you doing there? How were you studying?
I did stuff. It was industrial engineering. It was like it was focused on work measurement, work methods. You know, going into factory situations, looking how the work was done, and seeing could you make it more efficient, and in terms of the methods used and the time taken to do the work. And there was an element to it as well. There was industrial psychology was another, and then a subject, and then the fourth one was materials handling and plant layout. Yeah,
it was kind of a management course.
Yeah, it was. It was a basic engineering course for industry, and it was a very really. I learned a lot on that course, not only about the engineering side, but on the whole people side of things.
And where did you go then?
So I, as I was studying there, an opportunity for a job came up in MacArthur's in Buncrana. They were a fine knitwear company. They used to make clothing products, primarily ladies, for the likes of Miss Selfridges and companies like that in the UK. Did sportswear for Adidas and those. And they employed about 250 at the time, and I think half the class put their name in for the job, and lo and behold, I got lucky and I got in there, and I had 4 very interesting years there, and practicing industrial engineering, and it was great for me, great. And after about 3 years there, I got contacted by a guy who was a senior manager, director of McGee's of Donegal, and he knew me through football, and
Just hold on a minute.